Welcome to Master Your Money, Budgeting, Saving, and Debt-Free Living. I'm your host, Nate Tanner. On this show, we use the Triggator philosophy to help you build a spending plan that fits your life, build your savings and investments, and knock out debt with confidence. And today, we're talking about something that might feel a little too familiar. You make a budget, you feel good about it, you even color code it, and then it ghosts you. You overspend, you forget to check in, you get hit with a surprise expense, and suddenly your plan is out the window. Does that sound familiar? You're not alone, and you're not broken. You just need a better way to make your money behave. This episode is called The Budget Whisperer because we're going to help you build a paycheck-based plan that actually works and sticks. You'll learn why your budget keeps ghosting you and how to fix it, the picnic error and why your bank app isn't the problem, how to build a paycheck plan that covers bills, fun, and future you, and how to make budgeting a habit, not a headache. Because budgeting shouldn't feel like punishment. It should feel like peace. Let's get into it. Why your budget keeps ghosting you and how to fix it. Let's talk about the ghosting problem. Not in your dating life, in your budget. You sit down full of good intentions, you open a spreadsheet, maybe even light a candle, you assign every dollar, you feel like a financial wizard. And then, 2 weeks later, you're over budget, you forgot about 3 bills, you dipped into savings, and your beautifully color-coded plan, it's now just a digital guilt trip. So what happened? Why does your budget keep ghosting you? Let's break it down. Problem number 1. You're building a monthly budget on a paycheck rhythm. This is the big one. Most people build their budget by month, but yet they get paid every 2 weeks. This means that your plan and your paycheck are already out of sync from the start. You're trying to fit a square peg into a round circle. And when your rent is due on the 1st, but your paycheck doesn't hit until the 3rd, that's not a budgeting failure, that's a timing mismatch. To fix, budget by paycheck. Every time you get paid, assign that money to the next 14 days of life. Bills, groceries, gas, giving, savings, everything. This is the foundation of the Triggator method. And once you make the shift, your budget stops feeling like a guessing game and starts feeling like a plan you can actually follow. Problem number 2. You're budgeting for the ideal month, not the real one. Let's be honest, most budgets are built for a version of you who never forgets birthdays, never eats out, and never has a car repair. That version of you is awesome, but they don't exist. Real life, it's messy, it's irregular, it's full of alligator expenses, those sneaky non-monthly costs that pop up and bite your budget. So if your plan doesn't include things like annual subscriptions, school fees, vet fees, holiday travel, birthday gifts, then it's not a plan, it's a wish list. The fix? Feed your alligators. Build those irregular expenses into your paycheck plan, bit by bit, so they don't derail you later. Problem number 3. You're blaming the app instead of the assignment. Let's talk about the picnic error. In tech support, PICNIC stands for problem in chair, not in computer. And when it comes to budgeting, the problem usually isn't your app, it's the way the plan is built. Most budgeting tools out there are still designed around a monthly mindset. But if you're living paycheck to paycheck, like most people, a monthly budget is already misaligned before you even hit save. That's why we built the Triggator app that's coming soon. It's designed from the ground up around the Triggator paycheck method. It helps you shift from a monthly budget to a paycheck-based spending plan that actually fits with your life. It's not just about budgeting, it's built around the full Triggator Triangle. Budget, a paycheck-based spending plan that assigns every dollar with purpose. Save, tools to manage your peace of mind funds, like your alligator fund, emergency fund, and savings goals fund funds. Pay off debt, a built-in debt accelerator that actually works because it's part of your plan, not an afterthought. So if you've ever felt like your budget app isn't working for you, maybe it's not you. Maybe it's the system. The fix: use a tool that's aligned with how you actually live and get paid. And whether you're using a notebook, a spreadsheet, or the Triggator app once it's launched, remember this: a budget only works when every dollar has a job. Not just a category, a job. Don't say $300 for groceries. Say this $300 covers 2 weeks of meals, including that birthday dinner and the Costco run. The more specific your assignment, the more likely you are to follow through, because clarity beats willpower every time. Remember in The Dark Knight when Alfred tells Bruce, "You crossed the line first, sir. You squeezed them. You hammered them to the point of desperation." That's what most people do with their budget. They squeeze it, they hammer it, and they try to make it perfect. And then they wonder why it breaks. But your budget isn't a punishment, it's a signal. It's not there to control you, it's there to guide you. So stop trying to be Batman, be Alfred. Be the one who sees the big picture and builds the system that works. Real life example: the grocery budget that wasn't. A listener named Jordan shared this with me. "I kept going over on my grocery budget every month. I thought I was just bad at budgeting, but then I realized I was only budgeting for food, not for paper towels, dog food, or the snacks that my kids sneak into the cart." Jordan wasn't bad at budgeting. Jordan was budgeting the wrong way. Once he adjusted his plan to reflect what he was actually buying, the overspending stopped. That's the power of clarity. Your budget isn't ghosting you. It's just waiting for you to build it around your real life, not your ideal one. So if your plan keeps falling apart, don't give up. Don't blame the app. Don't blame yourself. Just ask, what's missing from this plan? Then fix it, one paycheck at a time. Because when your budget fits your life, it stops disappearing and starts delivering. How to build a paycheck plan that covers bills, fun, and future you. So now that we've talked about why your budget keeps ghosting you, let's talk about how to build one that actually sticks. Not a spreadsheet that you'll forget about in 2 weeks, not a guilt trip in Google Sheets. A real, working, paycheck-based spending plan that covers your life, your bills, your fun, and your future. This is where the Triggator Triangle comes in. Because when you build your plan around the 3 sides, budget, save, and pay off debt, you're not just managing money, you're leading it. Let's break it down. Step 1, start with your paycheck. Forget the monthly budget for a second. Let's zoom in on your next paycheck. Ask yourself, when does it hit my account? What bills or expenses fall between now and my next paycheck? What do I need to cover to get from this payday to the next? That's your window. That's your plan. This is the heartbeat of the Triggator method, budgeting by paycheck. Every time you get paid, you assign that money to the next 7 or 14 days of life, not the whole month, just the next stretch. This keeps your plan flexible, focused, and aligned with how you actually live. Step 2, cover the essentials first, budget side. Start with the budget side of your triangle, your paycheck-based spending plan. This includes fixed bills, things like rent, utilities, insurance, called monthly expenses. Variable needs like groceries, gas, household items, called paycheck expenses because they happen every paycheck. Giving, tithing, donations, generosity. This should also be a part of every paycheck. Assign every dollar to a job. Again, not just a category, a job. Remember, instead of saying $400 on groceries, say $400 for 2 weeks of meals, including that birthday dinner and the Costco run. Instead of $100 for gas, say $100 to cover 2 commutes, 1 road trip, and a fill-up for the mower. The more specific your assignments, the more likely you are to follow through. And don't forget to include a little joy. A spending plan without joy is a budget begging to break. Step 3, feed your alligators. the save side. Next, move to the save side of your triangle, your peace of mind funds. This includes alligator fund, those non-monthly expenses like car repairs, school fees, holidays, your emergency fund for the truly unexpected, and your savings goals, or what we sometimes call the fun fund, for guilt-free joy. Here's the key. Don't wait until these expenses show up. Plan for them now. If you know your car registration is due in 6 months and that it's going to cost you $180, divide that by the number of paychecks between now and then. That's your per paycheck assignment. Same goes for birthdays, back to school, and holiday travel. This is how you stop being surprised by unexpected expenses that aren't really unexpected. And if you're using the upcoming Triggator app, this is where it shines. It helps you assign savings goals directly into your paycheck plan, so those alligators get fed before they bite. Step 4, accelerate your freedom. Pay off debt side. Now let's talk about the pay off debt side of the triangle. This is where you stop making minimum payments and start making progress. Here's how. List your debts from smallest to largest or by interest rate. It's your choice. Make the minimum payments on all of them except the top priority. Throw every extra dollar at that one. When it's gone, roll that payment into the next priority debt. This is the debt accelerator, and it works because you build it into your spending plan. You're not guessing, you're not hoping, you're assigning. And when you use the Triggator app, this process is built in. You'll see exactly how much you can throw at debt each paycheck without sacrificing your essentials or your savings. Remember in Iron Man when Tony Stark talks to Jarvis, sometimes you gotta run before you can walk? Well, budgeting is actually the opposite. You've got to walk before you run. And your paycheck plan, that's your Jarvis. It keeps you grounded. It keeps you focused. It keeps you from flying into financial chaos. You don't need a suit of armor. You need a system. Real life example, the birthday budget fix. A listener named Brianna shared this. I used to panic every time a birthday came up. I'd swipe the card, feel guilty, and promise to do better next time. But then I started assigning $20 per paycheck to gifts fund. Now birthdays don't stress me out. They're already covered. That's the power of a paycheck plan. It turns panic into peace. Your budget doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be aligned with your paycheck, your priorities, and your real life. So next time you get paid, don't just spend it, assign it. Cover your bills, feed your alligators, pay off your debt, and don't forget to leave room for joy. Because when your plan fits your life, your money starts to behave. The Triggator way to make budgeting a habit, not a headache. Let's be honest, most people don't struggle with making a budget, they struggle with sticking to it. You build a plan, feel good about it, maybe even color code it. But then life happens. You forget to check it. You overspend. You get hit with surprise expenses, and suddenly your budget feels like a broken promise. But here's the truth. It's not about willpower. It's about rhythm. Budgeting isn't a one-time event. It's a habit, a rhythm that moves with your life, not against it. And that's where the Triggator method shines. If you get paid every 2 weeks, your budget should move every 2 weeks. That means every payday becomes a check-in point, not a spreadsheet overhaul, just a moment to pause, assign, and move forward. Some people do this with a notebook, some people use the whiteboard, and some will use the Triggator app, which is coming soon, which is built to guide you through this rhythm automatically, assigning your paycheck across the Triggator Triangle. Budget, save, and pay off debt. The key is consistency, not perfection, not complexity, just showing up. One couple I worked with turned budgeting into a Friday night ritual. They'd grab takeout, put on a playlist, and spend about 20 minutes assigning their paycheck together. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't flawless, but it was theirs, and it worked. That's the kind of rhythm that we're after. And when you sit down and assign your paycheck, don't overthink it. Just ask yourself, what needs to be covered? What needs to be protected? What needs to be freed? Those 3 questions, budget, save, pay off debt, are your compass. They keep you focused, they keep you grounded, they keep you from getting lost in the weeds. And when you miss a check-in, don't spiral. Just pick it back up. Progress over perfection. I'm sure we all remember in The Karate Kid when Mr. Miyagi teaches Daniel to wax on, wax off. At first, it feels pointless, repetitive, boring. But then it clicks. Those small, consistent movements become muscle memory. They become power. That's what budgeting is. It's not about one big breakthrough. It's about small, consistent check-ins that build that financial muscle. Wax on, assign paycheck. Wax off, repeat. And if you've ever said, I just hate budgeting, here's a reframe. You don't hate budgeting. You hate the version of budgeting that didn't work for you. The one that felt like a guilt trip. The one that didn't fit your life. Here's a small shift that makes a big difference. Make budget a verb. If you look at it, you will see the triangle is all action. Budget, save, pay off debt. Things you do to meet your financial goals. Don't think of a budget as a spreadsheet or a document. Think of it as something that you do. When you budget, you're not filling out a form. You're creating a spending plan. You're telling your money where to go before it disappears. You're leading. There's power in that language shift. A budget on paper can feel restrictive, rigid, joyless. A plan is proactive. It is forward-looking. It is something you build with purpose. And when you treat budgeting as an action, not an artifact, it becomes part of your rhythm, something you do, not something you dread. So if the word budget makes you cringe, try this instead. I'm going to plan my next paycheck. That's clarity. That's leadership. That's budgeting the Triggator way. But when you build a plan that fits your rhythm, that gives you clarity, not confusion. You don't hate it anymore. You trust it. And that trust, that's what turns budgeting from a headache to a habit. So don't wait for that perfect moment. Don't wait for next month. Start with your next paycheck. Assign it, align it, and let the rhythm begin. Because when you lead your money with clarity, your money starts to follow. You've made it to the end of The Budget Whisperer. And if you're still here, you're not just interested in budgeting, you're ready to lead your money with clarity. We've talked about why your budget keeps ghosting you and how to fix it. We've walked through how to build a paycheck-based spending plan that actually fits your life. And we've reframed budgeting from a guilt trip into a rhythm that works. Now it's time to take action. As Homer was beginning his journey to becoming an executive, Mr. Burns famously said, "It is time. Give Simpson the key." Well, now it's your turn. You've got the key to a spending plan that actually works. When your next paycheck hits, don't just spend it. Sit down and assign every dollar using the Triggator Triangle. Cover what needs to be paid, budget, broken down by what is due in that specific pay period. Protect what needs to be saved, save. Feed your alligator fund, stack your emergency fund, and start building your fun fund. Free what needs to be paid off, pay off debt. Launch your snowball payment and accelerate your freedom. Even if it's not perfect, even if it's just scribbled on a sticky note, start the rhythm. Because the moment you assign your money with purpose, you stop reacting and start leading. Got a budgeting win, a rhythm that's working for you, or a budgeting oops that turned into a breakthrough? Email me at podcast@Triggator.com or message me on Instagram, Facebook, or X at Triggator. If this episode helped you, here's how you can help us. Follow the show and stay on track with your Triggator Triangle journey and achieve financial clarity one step at a time. Leave a review whether this episode gave you an aha moment or inspired your next budgeting breakthrough. Share this episode with a friend who really needs to stop ghosting their budget. And don't forget to follow at Triggator on social media for tips, encouragement, and behind the scenes content. Coming up next time, and I have to say I am really excited about this one. As it is said many times in Star Wars, this is where the fun begins. Life after debt. I own my paycheck. What's next? You've paid off your debt. You've reclaimed your paycheck. Now what? In this episode, we'll explore how to transition your Triggator Triangle from security to wealth. What to do with your freed up money. Peace of mind versus wealth funds. We're going to have a lesson on cash flow and passive income, and how to avoid lifestyle creep while staying aligned with your mission. Because financial freedom isn't the finish line, it's the starting point. Remember, budgeting isn't about restriction, it's about direction. When you stop chasing your money and start assigning it, you don't just make a plan, you build peace. Thanks for listening to Master Your Money, Budgeting, Saving, and Debt-Free Living. I'm your host, Nate Tanner. See you next time.